Hi, good morning, everyone. We are just on the hour now. It's 3 o'clock. We are getting people on board. I can see we have good attendance from at this point, but we'll just give people another minute to get on board. Sometimes the application takes a bit to install and launch, so we'll just give people another minute before we go ahead. I can see there's still people coming in, but we are on the 1 minute past the hour, so I think we'll kick it off and start. I'd like to welcome everybody here on this webinar that we are running in collaboration with ITSMF in Sweden. 8 tips on integrating ITAM and IT service management / ITIL. Before we actually kick off, it's a bit of housekeeping. You are all on mute. You cannot speak, but if you have any questions that you want to raise, there's an area where you can put in these questions. Please do that as we move along. We'll be answering questions at the end of the session, but continue to put in your questions as we move along. You have an opportunity also to contact us after the presentation, after the webinar. You can email us at info@itamorg.com. And also you should notice that the session will be recorded. It'll be made available from the ITAMOrg site, where you can access it after the webinar by latest 24 hours after that. That was 48 hours. Right, so before we really kick off on the agenda, I'd like to also have Peter Stjernstrom from itSMF say a few words. Peter, welcome here.
Thank you, Jesper. My name is Peter Stjernstrom, and I'm the chairman of itSMF Sweden. And I just wanted to say that we're very happy to organize this together with ITAMOrg, and it's going to be real exciting to sit in on this webinar and see what we're going to hear. And I hope you, wish you all very welcome and hope you enjoy this session.
Great, thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
For the actual agenda, we have, I'll put that up here. We've a number of things. We've just gone through the welcome introduction. Your speaker will introduce himself in a minute, talk about who is ITAMOrg, what is ITAM and the expert recommendations that we want to put along, what are some of the challenges that you might face, and how do you see ITIL4 and ITAM in collaboration. Then we'll have a look at ITAMOrg best practice and the alignment between the best practices in this field and related, the ITAM perspectives of these. But before we really kick off, I wanted to see if there's, well, we'll do a quick poll here. So I just did this. You should be able now to see the question here in your screen, and you are given some 20-30 seconds to answer this very simple question. If you already have IT service management process in place, we'll just give it another 15 seconds to let it run. I hope everybody can see the button you need. So there are 2 buttons. There's a yes and there's a no. And we have votes coming in. 60% has voted by now. I think I will stop this poll because there's a clear, it's a 100% yes for yes, we do have IT service management processes in place. So no need to let that run all day. So another quick poll we'll do also before we get along, which is if you have an ITAM program in place or have it planned. Please also fill in your answer there as a yes or a no. I'll let that run in another 15 seconds to get more. A few people has voted by now. Right, we're getting the votes on board. We have 50% that has voted. Right, so 60% of votes. So it's at this point we have like well, now it's the yes is going a bit up. I'll just give it another second. Okay, we're back at the 70-30 here, so it's 70% as a yes for having an ITAM program in place or planned, and 30% is no. So thank you for sharing that with us. It's interesting for us during the presentation to know where you are in that respect. Okay, and now I want to hand over to the presenter for today, and leave the mic also to you, Jan.
Thank you so much. Let's see if I can get the control here of the.
I'll do that while you introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Jan Oberg, and the most important in my biography is that I have been in this field, in the IT service management and IT asset management field since the early 90s. I have been done different work around this. I was one of the co-founders of itSMF Denmark back in 2002 together with Christian Nissen. And I am also the co-founder and partner of ITAMOrg, which are doing this session. And I have been author and contributor to ITIL3 and ITIL4 and different ITAM courses, member of the ISO 19770 working group, and one of the also co-auditors behind the standards. Yeah, and then I have done a lot of different things around this area in both from a service desk perspective and a technical perspective and etc. I will not use so much time on this slide. Jesper, do I have the control?
You can use the arrow keys if you like on your keyboard.
No, I cannot do anything.
So we'll try that one here. I'll give you more power. Don't like that, but now you have.
I have got something show my screen, or hello.
Yeah, can you do it now?
Do what?
I'll do it. Advance the slides. I'll do it for you then.
Okay. Can I get up the presentation again? I do not have it in.
You need to take it back, Jesper, I think, and share it again.
Yeah, I can see that. It's I'll change the presenter to image myself. There you go. Do you have it now, Jan? Can you see this the screen?
Yes, but it is not good. I only have the half a screen right now. I do not know what you have done.
No, that's same here. Only a part
You
of
only
it.
have the half of it. Okay.
Hmm.
So we'll have to.
Here we go.
Is this better?
Okay, yes, then this is better. Okay, the first I will talk a little bit about is who and what is ITAMOrg. Jesper, please switch. ITAMOrg is an you can say a member organization and a professional organization. If we look at the member organization, then we have right now established member organizations in Benelux, in the United Kingdom, in Germany, in Asia, Czech Republic, France, Ireland, yeah, and more is coming up on this. And the professional side is that we have professional services. We are building up a knowledge base and toolboxes, etc., with which we are offering our members. We are also doing research and development. And the bottom of this, you can see down here, we have the courseware and the publication certification, where we are developing course material and training material and certification programs around IT asset management. And then we are also related to and connected to different organizations as itSMF and Van Haan and Purple Griffin and etc. Also, the member of the liaison member of the ISO 19770 group. Jesper, could you please switch? So when we are looking into the technology, looking into our courses and course development, then we are taking part of the technology career path in the digital world. And that means everywhere where you are or trying to build up competencies, even if it is security management or it is deeper insight into the IT asset management or service management or contract management or IT financial management, it every time comes back to ITIL, the ITAM foundation. The ITAM foundation is the basic. You cannot manage, you cannot do anything around in these areas without the assets under control. You need it. Please press, and this also means we are looking quite into when we are building our course materials here into the cybersecurity, which also come with their recommendations about what need to be in control. And that is from a cybersecurity perspective. They are addressing these basic elements to have in place. In our courses, we have developed, please press. In our courses, we right now have developed 3 courses. We have the foundation, ITAM Foundation in place, including certification. We have developed software asset management courses, which go deeper into the challenges and the benefits around having software asset management under control and be able to manage it. And also have we developed the hardware asset management. And on the line, we have also planned to look into courses such as cloud and service asset management and people and information asset management, which also include the last one here, people and information asset management, also include bring your own device in different areas. Please switch. Late last year, we developed the ITAM certification program together with Van Haan, which is one of the biggest publisher organization in the world, which also have gone into the certification program, building up a certification organization. We have in this collaboration got a lot of partners worldwide to deliver our courses in around the world. And the latest one of those partners that we have got in is Aim for Knowledge in Sweden. So we can see that there is some kind of request for this courses in the world. Yes, please. Just press yes, all of it. Another part that we are delivering on and have been developed in our toolbox, as you can say, is the online maturity assessment. We have 2 versions of this assessment, which can help you to focus into your maturity of the IT asset management in your organization. We have a free one, which could be which you can get access to from our website, and then you can bring it up to a payable version where you will have a lot of questions around from different license and products in this area, such as IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, and etc. This also includes ITIL4 check questions, which also open up that ITAM cannot stand alone. ITIL has dependencies to the ITIL world, and vice versa. ITIL also have dependencies back to the ITAM world. For more information around all this, you can get it from our website. Please press. You can get it from different sources, such as the ISO 19770 standard of IT asset management, the ITIL4 ITAM practices, where you can go to the Axelos. We have a news feed, ITAM news and feeds. You can go to the ITAM channel. And also go to our website ITAMOrg and look up for more information here. Yes, the next one I will go into is what is ITAM. When we look into this, there is several challenges around this, and there can also be different ways into how experts are looking at it. If we look at one of the largest specialist organization or advisors in this area, Gartner Group, we can see that Gartner Group has focused on the cost and risk avoidance as key business drivers for implementing IT asset management in an organization. And they also state that it requires focus and a strategic plan. But we can ask ourselves, is that enough? Is it really the key driver in 2021 in an organization which has in many ways a challenge around this? Is it then the correct drivers? Please switch. So when we look into it and we look at the different other organizations trying to help in this area, or which are challenged around this, especially around the cybersecurity. And we are reading and listening to what NIST are recommending. Then they are saying, get IT asset under control, because it is the fundamental to keep cybersecurity under control. When we have this, then we can start to increase cybersecurity resilience. We can faster respond to security alerts because we know exact what we have in our organization, and we can keep track on that is getting updated and patched every time something is coming up. Secondly, we can start to cost optimize, and then we can provide details information to our auditors, because we have everything under control here. So the key driver for doing this could be in an organization, we need to have control of our security instead of only cost optimization. Please switch. When we are looking at software compliance or compliance in real, then we can say it also starts with a request, and we have a purchase, and we have a deployment. All this, we are very good to keep that part of control. We know our license, we know our product, and we know where it is installed. Most failures in the compliance area is not around the product or the license itself. It is about the contract, the software entitlements, the license terms, and we cannot prove the purchase of the license. There is where we often fail in an organization, because we do not have that under control. And that is what we are calling the Bermuda Triangle of ITAM. That is all the hidden stuff that is the most important when we are looking into compliance. And we are often forgetting it in the way that we are managing and controlling our software and our licenses. Please press. Another challenge in the area of the IT asset management is the daily operation. I am sitting here as an IT asset manager, and I have to be in control of what's going around and how my assets, how the company assets are being managed every day. There is getting a lot of shifts around. Users getting new desktops or laptops or phones, and IT specialists is updating cloud services and updating laptops and desktops, and specialists in the infrastructure environment are also installing, replacing, updating, retiring and patching and all that stuff. So there is a lot of things going around here. And as an IT asset manager, I need to make sure that all my assets is updated and controlled and managed at every time in the day. Please press. So from a ITAM challenge, Jesper, please press. Yes, please. So from an IT asset manager perspective, I have to manage, I have to control, I have to make sure we are compliant, we have the policies, I need to communicate, and I also need to educate around to manage and control the IT assets. So when I have an organization with the specialists in at the bottom. Day-to-day operation are taking place. We have a lot of activities and a lot of changes every day in our organization. So as an IT asset management, I have to control this part, even if it is hardware changes, software changes, data and information changes, or changes in our cloud and services. But I also need to look up and see what's going around in, you can call it the more administrating areas or fields here. How does all the changes here influence our finances, our contracts, our legal, or you can say our license entitlements in the CRM? And what are we doing in the procurement? What are we getting in of new items into our organization? Please press. So that is the structure that the IT asset manager has to build up. And if any link here is missing and we do not have a structure, then we have no or minor focus in an organization, because nobody can see it and nobody can feel it in the organization. And that also means when we do not have focus on it, we cannot get the senior management attention on it, unless we are coming up and we get a big fine because we are incompliant. Then maybe the senior management would look into it. So when we look at the scope of the IT asset management, then we have to build up the organization. We have to set up an organization strategic plan, and then we have to look into how we can manage and control our life cycle. For that, we need a strategy, and we need to plan that and plan all the activities around it. And then we have to use that to make the right decision and bring it in. We have to build up all the process area and take care of the data around the life cycle, where we acquire, we manage, we control, we retire, and we are planning our activities. And then we have focus on the risk and the review. And all this, we are also populating IT asset knowledge. What happens? I'm just asking.
Is it somebody that has a different difficulty in watching the screen size? So I was switching to another mode.
Okay, so you press the button. And yes, interesting. Now we have a half screen. Yes, but it's not good.
I'm afraid we'll have to go back to the other mode.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please press the bottom. So when we are looking into the responsibilities of the IT asset management, then we have to build up the strategy, the policies, the life cycle, the processes, the people, the stakeholder management, reporting, the improvement, the compliance and conformance, and social responsibility. That is the responsibilities for the ITAM. And now when I'm looking at this slide, and with my experience from IT service management, I would say, okay, how many places would IT service management cover this? Where could IT service management help me to set up my ITAM responsibilities? And where can I be aligned? I would propose that when I'm looking into not all the policies, but some policies could be covered. I could also make a common strategy. I could get help from a lot of the processes which are defined in the ITAM area, would I could get help from the IT service management. Also, we will probably share people also here, stakeholder management, the reporting. No, maybe I have to go a little bit deeper into my reporting here. Improvements, compliance and conformance will also be a part of the ITAM. But what I'm trying to say here is I do not think that ITAM should stand alone. It has to be really tight connected into the IT service management too. And then we can say if we are doing it together, we can plan, we can implement, and we can manage and control, or we can do it separately, and then we will probably do a lot of double work. Please. When we look into the specific roles in the ITAM area, we have mentioned some of them here. We have the primary roles, that is our asset managers for hardware, software, cloud, information asset manager, IT asset analysis, configuration manager, and IT asset owner. Then we have the IT asset manager in the center. And secondary roles we have as auditor, security management, ITAM consultants, legals, service desks, supplier manager, acquisition manager, IT service management manager, contract manager, finance manager, and automation manager. And also here we can see that we will have similar roles also in the IT service management. So let us take a look into the IT service management. One more, please. With the ITIL4 coming up, ITIL4 new release, we could see that IT asset management is coming back on the track in the IT service management portfolio. It have been out for several years, and now we can see it is coming back and now is mentioned as a practice. And that is good. That means that we'll probably get focused on it, and more also help us to get more focus and point out the importance of asset management control. Please press. So when we are looking into to the ITIL4 and the way they are describing the definition, purpose, and objectives, then ITIL is saying that any financial valuable component that can contribute to the delivery of an IT product or service, that is an ITIL, that is the definition. The purpose with IT asset management practice is to plan and manage the full life cycle of all assets. So when we look into this and try to translate it, then it is about increase the value, cost control, risk management, support decision and procurement, and then meet all the contractual requirements. Please. Yes. So ITIL4 is also put this into to 3 steps. We have the software asset management in the center, and then we have IT asset management, and we have asset management for itself. And the typical content here is software, hardware, devices, network, and cloud services. That is the focus for the ITIL4. And then they are saying it could also be assets as buildings. I will say it is very important. As part of the IT asset management, we know exact which buildings our servers are being placed. So we have all our facilities under control here. Also from a security perspective. ITIL4 is also saying we can also put information in as an asset, or we could have focused on the operation technologies, including devices which is part of IoT. Interesting. Yes, and I'm not disagree with this, but I will say from my perspective, it is not enough, because when we are looking into IT asset management, we can say it is one way in to get started with IT asset management in an organization. But I think when we are going deeper into software, for example, then you will see it will open up and we will need more and more, need to have focus on more and more. And when I also look into ITIL4 and compared what getting around in the past, please click. So then I will say there is nothing new here, because ITIL and ITAM has been connected back in the past. ITIL has covered SAM since 2003 with the ITIL software asset management and the ITIL application management books back, which was written in the early 2000s. And ITIL has also covered hardware asset management since 2003 in ITIL ICT infrastructure management. And if we are going back and looking into those books, which is part of the ITIL, we will see it is not a simple way into this. It is a complex way, and you can say when we are looking into ITIL4, I think, my opinion is it is been simplified too much in this and not taken seriously. But that is my my feeling. Okay, please press. So when we compare the ITIL4, ITIL4 is a practice with around 45 pages practice guide, overall introduction to ITAM, focus on the overall life cycle, focus on value. So it is I would say it is a more generic introduction to the ITAM discipline. You can call it a teaser, because when we are asking to bring this into to an organization, it need more focus. It need more focus on the practical understanding, for example, of software asset management and hardware asset management specifics, such as what is a license, what kind of types of licenses are there around, and that could change from publisher to publisher, what they are, but there are also some common understanding on this. It needs focus on the ITAM life cycle. Also here with the specifics on focus on each ITAM area. It is not the same life cycle. It is, you can say it is the same life cycle that we are using in the ITAM, but it could be different tasks we are using when we are handling or going around software asset management, or we are going around hardware asset management. It also, we agree, it has to be focused on the value, focus on a practical implementation. How do you implement this into an organization? And how can you create the alignment between IT service management and ITAM, IT asset management? You can follow the ISO 19770 implementation approach and processes, and then you can align it to the IT asset management, IT service management. So, for example, align it to the ITIL. Yes, please. So one of the way you can go into this, and that is also what we have taken into our course materials, and the way that we are looking into this, that is that we are looking at the ITAM best practice. And the best way into ITAM best practice is to look into ISO 19770-1 asset types, which are describing the way to look into to assets. Here we can see an IT asset could be a digital asset, executable software, source code, non-executable, digital information, ITAM system management, ITAM systems and tools, metadata for IT asset management, IT hardware, physical media, physical equipment, IT asset licenses, contracts, asset services, and non-IT assets. That is the way that the ISO standard are looking into this. The ISO standard also have a maturity, implementation maturity model, which are built up in 3 tiers. Tier 1, you're getting all your data under control. And I'm saying all the data, you can take part of it and keep it under control, go back and take the next around. And the second life cycle is the integration. And now we are trying to collaborate and work together with other areas. We have more focus on how we can integrate, how you can say, how we now can optimize our portfolio and keep it under control. And the third one is the optimization. And that means how can we get more efficiency and effective around the ITS management and the functional areas. Next step into this is to take a look at the process areas. Please. ISO 19770 also define functional management process areas, and that get focused on the change management of changes, core data management, license management, security management, relationship and contract management, finance management, service level management, or risk management. And then we have the specification, acquisition as in the life cycle and development and release and deployment and operation and retirement as part of the life cycle. Please switch. Next, please. Thank you. So when we are looking at those processes and take it and into the maturity implementation model, then tier 1 processes is about change management. It is data management, license management, and security management. Get that data under control. Then we can step into tier 1, and that is the lifecycle integration. Now we have the specification, acquisition, development, release, deployment, all parts which help us to manage and control our assets. And then the tier 3 is the optimization, where we have the relationship, financial management, service level management, and other processes. That is one way to look into this. And one way to adapt the process areas and also the implementation model into an organization to get started with the implementation of ITS management. Next slide. I have mentioned several times that IT asset management cannot stand alone. We have a lot of dependencies to IT service management. So when we look at this car, you can say all the construction of this car and all the part of the car, that is what we can say is IT assets. It is assets. And we have to plan the life cycle of those assets for the whole life of this asset, for the lifetime of this asset. So when we are looking at the IT service management, then the IT service management could be the engine who helps IT asset management life cycle to help. So it will be the engine who get this asset car to run. And another perspective into this is next slide. where we can see that when we really go into the bone of IT asset management, at the bottom, then it is about to get asset under control, get our asset inventory under control, and our asset repository under control. That is the really core of IT assets. We need a lot of processes, but if we look into this world and we go to the top, then we can ask, how could system management contribute to this? System management, if it is set up in the right way, we have metering tools, we have security tools, we have discovery tools, and etc. Each of those tools are coming around the assets in the organization and pulling up information about those assets. We can use those assets in our asset inventory and in our repositories to keep control and manage our assets. So if anybody are changing anything out in the infrastructure, the metering tools, security tools, or discovery tools should notify that something has happened here, and could bring up an alert to the IT asset manager. In the middle, we have the service management. We have a lot of contracts. We can use the supplier management disciplines in IT service management to help us to keep control with all our contracts. We can also ask the finance management to help us to get control of the proof of purchase and our finances around our assets. When we are coming up, we can ask the service desk, which probably are receiving our requests for new equipment or some kind of equipment, so we can start the request fulfillment. We can acquire, and we can get it under control here. We can get service asset and configuration management set up. So this service asset and configuration management can give us the information on the software and hardware usage. Who are using those software and how are they getting used? And do we have any kind of software or hardware in our environment that is not used, or only in some kind of sleep mode? Then it could probably be taken out and put into our asset repository, or maybe be a candidate for retirement also, so we have it under control. So that is one way to look into how we can create the alignment here between ITAM and IT service management and IT system management in an organization, and also considerations when we are trying to implement IT asset management in an organization. Do not look at it as separate, but try to get up in the helicopter and take the view into how can we get benefit from other areas. I think that was the word from me, and I will say thank you for listening to this session.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you so much. And I think there was a lot of food for thought, so to speak. Maybe you already have some things you want to ask. There's certainly time to do that now. You can enter your questions in the pane, whatever question you have. We have actually one more survey to complete before we actually go to the actual Q&A session, and that is now on your screen. You can hopefully see that. Yeah, it's coming in now. It's a question of whether you see the benefit from managing ITAM and IT service management together. I think we'll have more votes before we can actually start before we can actually close that. I'll give you another 10 seconds to fill in your votes. Okay, we have more than 50% now. It's 100% for yes, so I think we'll thank you for that. We couldn't agree more, of course. That should be clear after the presentation today here. And just a final, also mention that that we can actually help the further development this in offering a training course together with Aim for Knowledge, and also building a Swedish chapter. We would like to learn if anybody has an interest in that. But I'd like to open for the questions now. So I'll probably just take that away so it's not in your mind. But I have actually the first question for you, Jan, here. If you have an ITAM program in planning, which we saw earlier on the poll that a lot of organizations has, how would you actually get started? And I have three possible answers for you. One, would you buy a tool? One, would you raise the competence level in the organization and have people properly trained? Or three, would you build the processes on top of the IT service management, as you know, given the level of knowledge you have in the organization already? It's not a trick question. Maybe the first one is, but the other two.
Yeah, no, but could you repeat the third option?
Yeah, if you want to start building the ITAM process on top of your service management, given the level of knowledge that you have in organization coming from the IT service management space.
Yeah, I think if you have some kind of program in your organization and you have done something in your organization, I will try to build it on the top of IT service management, as create the alignment between them, and also look into as we know that IT service management tools are not very good to not all of them are very good to keep IT asset information in the way that we are using, and we need to get it in managing and controlling ITAM activities. But I think I will go in and take a look where I can get the alignment and where I can optimize my asset management program by looking into the IT service management. Was that an answer?
Yeah, it's a general answer, and I think maybe if you could be a little more specific, if possible.
Yeah, also I can say as the first option, buying a tool. A man with a tool, I will not say anymore about this, but it will not help, because you need to bring so much effort into this, and it will not bring you any way other that you have got a new tool. So if you're looking at this, you can say you need to look into your competencies, your roles, and your processes, and then take a look at your tools. But if you have some kind of asset management program, I will think that you probably also, when you compare with the IT service management tools, you have all the tools you need to increase the maturity in your organization.
Right. Okay. That seems to be. Seems like you answered all the questions during the presentation. At least no further questions has come up. So, as I mentioned before, we are now also offering the training and certification in Stockholm, in Sweden, together with Aim for Knowledge. And you have, as a participant in this webinar, you have the opportunity to have a 20% discount on these first training classes that we'll be running in Sweden. We also want to talk to you about if you'd seen need or an interest for setting up a Swedish chapter. You might well go to the membership pages on ITAMOrg to have a little insight on what can be gained from the actual membership, but the opportunity is also that we can set up groups where people can share information amongst each other. It's a model that we've been running in Denmark for some five years, and with some very good traction, very good outcome from the participants, and over the time people are gaining the confidence amongst them, and so also in sort of difficult situations and in audits and dealing with management, then it's very valuable to have like-minded people to share and discuss with in these groups. So if you do have, if you want to discuss that further, please send a note to Peter or Jan. Right. Jan, Peter, anything, any final comments before we close this?
I do not have any final. Only
no,
thank you.
Not so much. Just thanking everyone for joining in, and don't hesitate to, like you said, to reach out for any further questions or after this session as well.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining, everybody, and thank you, Jan. Thank you, Peter, for setting it up. And we'll hope to see you soon again in another ITAMOrg webinar or networking group, perhaps. Thank you so much.